being MMA genius and MVP, I think that's pretty impressive, and people are going to remember him after this tournament.
Yeah, I certainly think so, man. I would expect nothing less from him. And, just talking about him a little bit more and talking about this tournament's history, I feel like you can compare this guy's performance to Symbol. Symbol had kind of his breakout performance at our last IronSquid, so Life is now coming in here. He's a great up-and-coming Zerg player, but at the same time, I feel like this is really Goswser's story.
Yeah, it is. You're right. And considering Goswser's symbols. Oh no, okay. So I saw 10 drones out for Life, and I thought it was going to go for a temple, but it was just saving up for the Overlord. So never mind. As we do have spoiling up to our top left-hand corner, he goes by the name of Star Tails Life.
Yep, and he's playing against the former Complexity player, now Millennium, Goswser to the bottom right. And, this is such a cool ZVZ that we get to watch. I know I keep saying that I sound like a crazy hype machine right now, but this is potentially the best Zerg versus Zerg the world has to offer right now. And that game we just saw, last game, it was full of aggression. It was packed with aggression in the early game. This game, are we going to see similar styles, or are we going to see more of about the tech? There's always that moment where a player has to decide, when do I take my lair? When do I make my Roach Warren? Or am I going to make a bunch of Zerglings and attack him? Is he going to be ready? This is a two-player map. The rush distance is short.
Yeah. And, I mean, just to kind of add validity to the fact that, and make sure we know that all the rush distances are short here, it's one of those maps in ZVZ where opening hatchery first is almost a faux pas. You can't really get away with it too easily because there's so many early pulls. Even just a normal pull can be pretty annoying against a hatchery first on this map. So we do have both of them going for pull first, and I wouldn't expect any less on Ohana.
Yeah, no gases from them either. So just playing this as safe as possible, not trying to cut any corners. Now, Goswser is actually the first player to take the gas. And of course, you see just a few seconds later, Life is going to take his. So no early advantages really at this point for either player.
Yeah, just chilling out, getting their overlords into the correct positions to spot exactly what's going to be going on here. But I think of all the foreign players that actually were in this tournament to kick things off, apart from maybe Mini Razor, Goswser wasn't really on the top of people's lists to actually make it this far, let alone be in a situation now where he's actually on the verge of moving on to Paris. Goswser's doing pretty well for himself. And of all the foreigners that are in the round of 8 right now, if it was Goswser to advance over, say, Scala or Stefano, it's another surprise if it occurs.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point I was about to make, man. You and I are on the same page here because if you look at these three foreigners, I mean, over the past year, 2012, Stefano and Scarlet looked great, and it was kind of like at the beginning of the year, most people do Stefano, and then he looked really, really good. It was one of his best years. And then most people found out about Scarlet. Oh, who is this girl? Oh, a girl beat Korean players, and then, wow, she's looking really good. She's looking better and better. She's doing great at all the MLGs she goes to. But Goswser, on the other hand, he played in a lot of tournaments. He didn't look as strong until IronSquid. And for him to beat these players who looked, if he beats them out and is the only foreigner to advance here, it's just a little bit surprising.
Yeah, I guess this is the results of him really focusing down on being in France himself now and just, benefiting from the factors of the Millennium Team House that's there. It's the Millennium Team House has actually been doing pretty well for itself, apparently, for Goswser.
Yeah, it's really showing a pretty big difference for him. Now, just going into this game here, you see that Goswser is playing a little bit defensively with his Spine Crawler, making 3 Banelings just to be safe. Doesn't want anything unfortunate to happen to him because on this map, you never know when your opponent's going to hide Lings in his main and suddenly break out with a big force and try to trap you. On the other hand, Life, with his tech, is going to get a little bit ahead because he's playing a little bit less defensively. He's getting Roaches out first. He's getting more gases up, and he'll probably start his lair pretty soon unless he wants to hit a big timing, which he may do based on how he's doing this. I could see him hit a timing off 2 base.
Yeah, it's actually looking a little bit like that because, you get the Baneling Nest afterwards so that you can start pumping out the Roaches a little bit quicker to then follow it up with the Speedlings, which get across the map quicker, and then you morph in the Banelings there and then after it just as the Baneling Nest finishes. And yeah, well, Life, he's moving out, and he's going to be rallying a lot of Zerglings out here. So Goswser's defenses have to hold, and he only has one Spine Crawler. He's only spotted the Roaches now moving out.
Yeah, he sees them, but how is he going to respond? He actually sees the Ling follow up as well. He needs more Spine Crawlers, I feel. Is he going to try to skip them? It looks like it so far. He wants to spend all of his resources on Lings first. And actually, he's going to go for Roaches instead to try to defend this. He wants to get his own Roaches out with some Banelings. This is going to be so close. I'm not sure Goswser can actually make this hold work.
Yeah, I don't mind the Roach choice, but it's just coming a little late. Actually, Life's allowing him to have a little bit of time here. There are a few more Banelings morphing in. It's going to be so hard because those Banelings are going to zone out pretty much any Lings or Banelings that the Goswser would want to make in response, and he does actually push forward here. Life has a pretty darn good concave on the position of Goswser. The Banelings waddle forward, get some good connections with the Roaches of Life. And actually, Goswser, he still has a lot of Roaches left over. I don't think Life can actually break this anymore.
Yeah, I think you're certainly right. At this point, he's even chasing the Roaches of Life back. He's done it. He just did it by making his own Roaches. I think your point earlier about how Life gave him time with the Baneling morphs was why he was able to hold there.
Yeah, the Roaches, if he'd have just hit a little bit earlier whilst Goswser's Roaches were coming out, he would have caught the Spine Crawler without the Roaches there, caught it without just the Queen and the Spine even, and then from that point on, you isolate Roaches coming out from both hatcheries at different times, at different locations, and it's easier for Life to deal with, but not quick enough for him, and Goswser is in a really sturdy spot.
Yeah, and it looks like... Looks like he's just going to continue to make units. Life, on the other hand, keeps a little bit of aggression on. As soon as he sees the Roaches move out, he goes in for a counterattack with these 3 Banelings there, though. Doesn't have a lot to worry about, and in fact, he could just knock these Lings down with his Baneling Force and go for a counterattack where Life has no Spine Crawlers up. He's trying to attack. He knows that attack didn't do a whole lot. He needs to get his lair up. He needs to get another advantage, but Goswser is going to hit him really hard right now.
He's trying to buy time as best he can with those Lings, but how well is that going to work now that there's so many Banelings morphing in? Life even sees these. Goswser doesn't care that his opponent can see them. He's just going to cram at this home, try and bring it down. He's getting +1 behind this, but will it even matter if Goswser can hit this effectively? It's a good concave here for Life, but there's so many Banelings coming in. Goswser needs to let those pass, and he does.
Yeah.
Few holes.
Yeah, he barely gets through those holes, but they were not there as fast as they could be. Life, on the other hand, he needs more units. He's got a few about to pop out. I think he will hold here, but is Goswser going to be able to take out his Queen? That's going to be really important. If he gets the Queen down, he actually just gives up. GG.
Oh,
With the round of Lings that were coming across, it was too much for him.